Lynn, Colin, Pete, I'm a consumer guy, so I always have questions. And we thought at the end of the year, with a lot of people out there on the web, radio, television, thinking about making an end of year donation, we thought it'd be good to just talk about what's going on at Cars for Kids. And as a consumer guy, Colin's the CEO, Cars for Kids. As a consumer guy, as a consumer advocate, the rating that you guys have at the watchdogs is critical. And I think I mention it every time we talk, but could we mention it real quick as we start? Because not all nonprofits are created equal.
Right, absolutely. And as you mentioned, we're highly rated at GuideStar and Great Nonprofits. We've received the Platinum Seal from GuideStar and Great Nonprofits, just showing our seal of transparency, showing that we actually do what we say we're going to do with the funds that we receive from these donated vehicles. So they go exactly to what you think we're supporting, and that's helping kids.
And sadly, it doesn't take too far in a search or even looking at the news to find examples of nonprofits that don't toe the line. It's really sad, because it makes it harder for the great nonprofits like Cars for Kids to operate. But you guys rise above it all.
Always.
All right. So here we are. It's fourth quarter. I think an obvious question is, giving before the end of the year is key.
Very important.
So maybe talk about that. What that means to somebody who might be thinking that they have a vehicle, they'd like to make a cash donation. They'd even like to maybe bid on a car at the Cars for Kids auction. Why is that end of the year date key, and talk to us about that?
End of the year date is key because you have to get your donation in by the 31st in order to get the tax credit for the year 2022. So call us before the 31st. We can pick it up into January, but we have to establish contact and talk to you before the 31st. So that way that donation is valid for the year 2022. So if you know you're gonna be hit pretty hard on taxes, or if you wanna get that last minute tax write-off, then we're your go-to. Whether that be a vehicle donation, as you mentioned, or a cash donation. This is giving season. We just had Thanksgiving, the holidays are coming up. This is a perfect time to get that last minute tax write-off, and better than that, to help some kids out.
Yeah. You guys do a wonderful job of just not only making the tax deduction available, but you handle, for my situation, I donated a vehicle, all the forms were filled out for me. I didn't have to go.
You have everything ready for you this year.
You did everything but my taxes.
We don't do that.
You don't want him doing that.
But well done. Just a well-oiled machine. So anybody that gives by December 31st, and by the way, the phones will be open. On December 31st.
Absolutely.
Up until
from 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. Not 11:59. We let our employees celebrate a little bit.
Dr. Lynn Dehart, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good to be here.
You've got a little background to be able to talk about Cars for Kids and what it does in the community. And I think maybe for our, people know this guy's the CEO. Okay,
he's the boss.
He's the boss.
No question.
But give us, you've got a background, so we only got a couple minutes. But give us the Cliff Notes version.
The Cliff Notes
of Dr. Lynn Dehart.
I've spent many, many years public education, most of it working in inner city schools with inner city kids. Kind of grew up in that era, in that environment myself individually. So, like you mentioned, your car, my own personal background. So I just have this heart for kids that are struggling and that need another hand, and they need somebody to give them a hand up, not a handout, but a hand up.
Now you've seen firsthand Cars for Kids, Texas Can Academies impacting the community.
Absolutely.
Give our viewers today a sense. And again, these are folks that are trying to figure out, okay, are these guys going to do a good job with my donation? Tell us an illustration.
Sure.
Give us a story of how a kid's life was impacted by Cars for Kids.
There are a lot of.
Give us a couple of good ones.
Well, you know what? I like the question you asked Colin a moment ago about the transparency and the rating we have. I think one of the things that sets this company apart is the mission. And the mission is very simple. It's to help kids graduate, to give them a chance to build a better future. So what he majors on, and what you'll hear preached around here all the time, is help, give, and build. So what we're talking about is a kid that comes in the door that's maybe dropped out of school. In many cases, and I've experienced this, watch it, I've been connected with Cars for Kids for the past 8 years. And I've been connected with dropout recovery schools for that long also. So I've spent a lot of time in these schools, in the classrooms. So a young man or woman comes in, they've been kicked out of a school because of attendance or because of behavior or for a multitude of reasons. Numbers and numbers of these kids are single parents. They already have children. We talk about their parents trying to get them involved, but their parents aren't either around or they're already working. So, I mean, I can give you a generic view. These kids are the kids that are struggling the most in this culture, in this society. So you have a kid like one that works here at Cars for Kids named DK. And he's past the time when most people say he should have graduated, and yet here he is. He's still finishing up this year. By the end of this year, he will have a high school diploma, and he'll be a kid that can be employable anywhere. The great thing is he started working here as an intern and started doing a job here, and we recognized in this place his capacity and his capability, which is kind of ironic because it's for what most people call the lack of capacity that cost him his opportunity in public schools.
So, Dr. Lynn, in
You just call me Lynn.
Okay, Lynn. All right. I didn't want to assume. Okay. In DK's case,
Yeah,
had Cars for Kids not been there for him,
absolutely.
his life path could have been, probably would have been much different.
There was nobody else out there willing to help him, willing to give him a chance and help him build his future. And so the reason I think he's so special to us is because the school's doing its job. It's getting him a diploma, a legitimate diploma with no asterisk or anything else. It's the same thing that any kid that graduates from Highland Park or any other public school in this state, it's the same diploma.
Yeah.
And yet the organization itself saw him, they saw his ability. And I'll promise you in 10 years, he's going to be a major part of the leadership team of this organization.
That's
And
amazing.
in addition to DK, basically going back to school, what he's realized is he's been in the thick of raising money to help kids like himself
Yeah,
build a better future. And he can go to school and say, hey,
right.
you're here, but this is what people are doing behind the scenes to help you be here. And he can spread the message better than anybody else because, as Lynn says, he was one of those kids.
These are forgotten kids.
Oh,
Exactly.
Well, and you know, the thing
Yeah.
about it, Pete, is they're not just forgotten. They were the kids that were kicked out in many cases. They were the kids we
They're
discarded.
like shunned.
Yes.
Yeah.
We said, you can't do this.
Right.
You're not doing what you need to do. Go.
Yeah.
And what we do is make sure that there's some resources to these schools so that they can go to the DKs of the world and say, no. You're not going to be forgotten. And we're not going to let you just drop through the cracks. We're going to make sure you have the opportunity. Now, they still have to take advantage of it and avail themselves of it. But they have to be the ones to take the responsibility for it. But we're there to help give them the impetus and the motivation to do it.
Awesome. Colin, talk about the process, because just like the tax forms that you guys handle so well, back us up a little bit and talk to that person viewing us today, watching us today, that has a vehicle of any kind that they're not using, they don't need, but could be of value to help one of these kids get to the destination of a high school diploma.
Yeah, absolutely. So just go to our website, carsforkids.org. We have all of the information that you need there as far as why you should donate to us, what we need from you in order to donate to us. You can fill out an online form, or you can give us a call, as you mentioned, up until the 31st, until 8 o'clock. We're accepting phone calls for donations, and we work with our donors, and you know this better than anybody, to pick up the vehicle. And we try, just like Lynn says, we try and remove obstacles from the kids' lives.
Sure.
We try and remove obstacles from our donors because, we're trying to help our donors get rid of a problem. And that problem is a vehicle that's been sitting in their driveway for years.
You're looking
So-
at me as you say that.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I mean, yours had a tree growing around it, but we'll
Not
just
to mention the
cut that
raccoon
out.
family. Yeah. But we
So,
relocated the raccoon family, so no harm came. What about, as we're getting down to the end of the year here, what about somebody who has a vehicle and they call you, let's say the last couple of days of the year, does it have to be picked up, or can that process start to get the tax break? Not that that's the reason you do it, but how does that work?
Yeah, so as long as you call us before the 31st, we can get that vehicle picked up into January.
Okay.
So we
all right. Well, that's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
you call on December 31st.
Yep.
you've
We're not rushing
yeah.
it to interrupt your New Year's Eve party to pick up your car. No, absolutely
And you know
not.
what? The tax break is so far down the list of reasons you give.
Right. Absolutely.
Especially when Dr. Lynn, I've got to call you Doc.
Okay.
I'll feel guilty.
You want me to call you Nurse Pete?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, the tax deduction is great, but the impact is the key. This is what I'm so excited about. I see kids in my neighborhood, you know, being impacted.
Right. Well, I think that is it. I mean, like you say, people give for multiple reasons. Obviously, taxes are one of them. But if we could get this, part of our message is to say to them, your reason for giving is to change the life of a kid. And you have a car that's sitting out there and you think it has no worth whatsoever. But if you saw a kid standing out there instead of seeing a car, and he's saying, will you help me? Will you give me a chance? Will you help me rebuild my future?
Yep.
Now all of a sudden the reason for giving that car is phenomenally different. So I think that's what gets us excited about being a part of this organization. It's not that we're selling cars. I mean, that's really secondary. It's primary in the sense it's what we have, but we're here for kids. And if you listen to him and you look at our logo and our motto and our mission, everything about it is kids, kids, kids. Because a guy like DK, and he's just one of thousands, has had his life changed because somebody out there saw not a car, but they saw a kid.
Right.
And they said, I think this will help. And then you get a little bonus because you get a tax write-off, and we also give you a gift card. So.
There you go.
So, and that's another, again, a nice little gift from
Cherry on top.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
That's all it is.
$50 gift card.
$50 Visa
Yeah.
gift card, yeah.
Okay. We got a second. Talk about the future. We're heading into a new year, and I know there's some exciting things brewing. As you all have been blessed at Cars for Kids, you're looking for even more meaningful ways to impact kids' lives to help these kids. Tell us a little bit about the coming year.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've always been a national company. We've always advertised in all 50 states. What we're looking to do into the new year is continue that effort in advertising in outside of Texas, still primary in Texas, but by advertising outside of Texas, it gives us the opportunity to help more kids that are in need. And that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to change lives in your neighborhood, but also in other people's neighborhoods. So we're looking to expand our reach to help more kids, which will eventually and hopefully help the entire country.
Let me jump in on that one too, Pete,
Sure.
because I want to brag on him a little bit because he won't do that himself. Cars for Kids has been around for almost 30 years. Like any company that survives, and you know this very well, in order to stay in business, in order to continue to survive, it has to change itself. It has to change with whatever's happening. This young man is a brand new CEO of an incredibly exciting opportunity. And he brings a set of skills because he knows this company backwards and forwards. He knows every aspect of it, but he also brings a different vision. And the vision is that we're not just a little local place anymore, helping a group of schools here, which we still are and we will always be. But we're an organization that want to help kids all over the United States. So what you're seeing is what you're seeing is a major shift in the direction this company's going, and it's based on his vision and based on the leadership that he's providing. So that I think what you're going to see over the next couple of years is a company that explodes, that becomes much larger than it is. And again, not for the sake of being large, but for the sake that his vision is the more money we get, the more kids we can help.
Impacting more kids.
And so we want to do that nationwide. And so it's exciting to be a part of that. It's exciting to watch him work, and it's exciting to see the things that are going on here because it's not just the little mom and pop shop that it used to be. It's going to be a major player in what we do with kids in schools and other places.
Is this an opportunity for volunteers to help you too?
Absolutely, and the best way to volunteer is to give and just spread the word. Spread the word on social media, spread the word on reviews, or just tell your friends. Tell your friends about your experience with us, either donating a car or donating money or coming to our auctions, as you mentioned. And the more that we can spread the word, the more people will be able to give, because the more that they know about us, the more they can read into what we actually do. They want to be a part of it.
Well, gentlemen, exciting discussion. I leave here even more pumped about Cars for Kids and the impact.
Good.
Absolutely. And in fact, I have another car that may be coming your way. So
Well, we appreciate the car, but we appreciate you being here to kind of help us with this.
Oh, yeah.
And to guide us through this because,
Thank you.
like Colin said, the more people that hear about what we're doing, what he's doing, what these guys are doing behind the scenes, the more kids we get to help. And ultimately, that's the message.
That's what it's
Kids.
all about.
All right. Well, here's to a great 23, impacting a bunch of kids in a good way.
Amen.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, gentlemen.
All right.
Thank you.